Welcome to the Augmentation of Man. I'm Renee Miller.
I'm Kent.
Today we're going to be expanding on a little bit. This video will be shorter on the last video we did, which was about the ostrifier and about the ostrifier being metaphorically beheaded. But why? Why is that? And who is this ostrifier that we keep going over? Because it's a puzzle. It's a mystery to be solved, right? So this lesson, this channeled lesson, because Kent will go into a deep meditation and then he is able to communicate telepathically with these higher beings called the ancients. So this one is about humanity's shift. And there's an event, a relatively recent event that caused humanity to shift. And we're going to get into that.
In 2019, we were told osteoporosis. Humanity has stopped learning.
So osteoporosis,
Why has humanity stopped learning?
we've gotten too distracted with other things, especially the material world, secularism, worldly things, events going on, polarization.
Beautiful women, etc. But my lovely wife.
And so they told us back in 2019 that humanity has basically come to a standstill.
Yeah, quit
We
learning.
haven't evolved in our evolution, and we haven't evolved in our learning. And what do these beings need to happen in order to get us back on the track of why we're here? What is the purpose of life? So a week ago, we were told that osteoporosis, the being that was, is no longer. So what happened to shift that, where humanity starts to pay attention to the lessons and starts to learn again? So why did that happen?
So the learning has shifted.
Mhm.
So humanity is going to start to understand more easily. Not all of humanity, but
Mhm.
a large majority of humanity is going to understand more easily. Things will become clearer
Mhm.
on their understanding. Yeah, we have started to connect the dots. You see the truth of things opening up. The truth is being told. It's being things been covered up for years. It's being uncovered.
Mhm.
Humanity is starting to connect the dots. And we are starting to see how seemingly different, events are actually related.
So
So,
there's things that are going on in our world, and they look like disparate events,
but they're
like they're
related.
completely separate, but they're telling us these things are related.
Yeah, they are. So this is a result of all events related to COVID, such as including the deception leading up to the lockdown, which COVID did. And we are becoming, because of all this happening, we're becoming conceptual beings. You want to describe what a conceptual being does or what it is?
So in the spiritual realm and in the universe of all beings, they categorize beings according to where you are on your learning path. And so we have been in the last cycle has been about perception. We've been learning about perception, and perception doesn't always align to the truth. And so now the truth is coming out, and we've got to shift our perception to align to the truth.
Yeah.
And we've got to see how all these what we thought were separate events, how they're all related. And when you start to see the correlation, you start to become more conceptual in your
In other
thinking.
words, we see the concepts coming all together.
And so the different units, you see how it's all part of one picture. These are different pieces of a puzzle, and the picture, a new picture is being formed that was not the way that we viewed it before.
Yeah.
And so
So
we are becoming, and we're moving into a new cycle of conceptual learning as conceptual beings.
So what caused the shift? Why the shift? And it has to do with the ostrifier.
So this is a being who comes from the other side, entering the world stage, quietly exchanging to himself the proper mode to be taken upon humanity to produce an effect of first polarizing people and then unifying the masses by shining a light on our perceptions and how our perceptions were not aligned to truth, that the events that are being created will instill a desire within humanity to search for a deeper truth.
Yeah.
And so that's the motivating factor that is setting us back on the path that we should be on, which is about learning.
And that's unifying the masses.
And to unify the masses. But
So,
we unify because the truth is being discovered. So we're not being fed all these different politically divided stories. We start to unite under one
yeah,
truth.
so I was told the ostrifier had been beheaded. In other words, he's losing power.
That was last week.
Yeah. And so how is losing power? Well, I guess if all you're doing around your being is solidifying the powers around you, then you tend to lose it. That'd be like
Mhm.
beheaded.
Yeah, it's a metaphoric
Metaphoric.
analogy.
So let's dive deeper into the spiritual evolution.
So we have to look at the whole reason why we're here. We're in an experiential learning field. We're here to learn. And sometimes these lessons are redundant.
Yeah, many times.
We're learning by our experiences. And if we're not reflecting on the events that are happening, if we're not, if we're just saying, I'm not gonna listen to the news, I'm not gonna pay attention to anything, and I'm just going to hold my highest vibration, why does that not work? It's because you can only hold a higher vibration by intention only for a short period of time.
Yeah.
The lengthy to be able to hold a higher vibration for a long duration is by learning. And what happens is that even if we have to go through the same lesson a few times, the redundancy, then what happens is that when the lesson is complete, then we get a vibrational attunement to a higher level of understanding. And that gives us the duration of holding a higher vibration for a long period of time, not this short, I can hold my vibration, but only under the perfect circumstances.
Yeah.
And this is being able to have a higher vibration by the wisdom that you hold now.
Yeah. So once you learn that lesson, you begin to close the event that you were on
Mhm.
and open a new lesson that will begin. So
It just happens automatically.
yeah, so we're not only in a shifting our spiritual being, many people upward. So we're literally shifting the vibration, the matter of our bodies, not just our spiritual, but our bodies also shift with this. So we are shifting matter as we learn.
Mhm. So the matter that makes up our bodies is also shifting in vibration. And so we're shifting the field in that way, so to speak, a little bit at a time.
So understanding the value of our bodies relating to all organic matter, once you learn who you are and what you are, then you begin to realize your body begins to shift, and you will actually notice the shift
Mhm.
in your body, and it's a good shift.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do feel like this humming, this kind of a vibration
Yeah.
within your body.
So your physical existence is only for the organic matter to be raised in its essence.
Mhm. Which comes from the creator. The
Right.
essence comes
Yeah.
from the creator, and it is a diffused pattern that comes from the main neuronet energy field.
And we discussed about the neuronet field.
And so we have to remind people, what is the neuronet?
There's a lot more to the physical body and the spiritual self than people realize.
And everything is connected
Yeah, and they don't realize, they think they're disconnected
from everything.
everything. They can disconnect themselves, but you really can't in
Mm-mm.
the long term. You really can't.
You think you can.
Yeah, you think you can. A lot of perceptions still exist.
Mhm. Yeah. But the neuronet it's an unseen web within the atmosphere. It is plasma cords that form, and it carries this intelligent information over that through the light. So a lot of people use this term, the light, but they don't really realize what it
Yeah,
means.
they have no idea what
It's
the light is.
it's an energy, but it's an unseen
Yeah,
energy. They call it the light,
yeah,
but
but
it is what
yeah,
it's an informational energy that is
right.
carried over.
It's not the light from the kitchen light. It's not the light from the sun.
Mm-mm.
It's not
It's
the light
different.
from, yeah, from, they don't really understand what the light
Yeah.
is.
And it is, if you can think about how communications travel over fiber optics, it's like that.
It's similar.
Very
Except it's more-
similar.
Except it's more, much more stronger.
And it's
Much
more of
more-
a web.
Right. As it attaches the masses to all the things that are in the
Everything.
universe. You don't realize you are attached to the universe.
And the neuronet is for our level of understanding. And as we progress and we raise our, we become more enlightened and we raise our vibration through the learning, through the gain wisdom, then eventually, not in this lifetime, not in many, many lifetimes, but eventually we can become beings that tap into a higher source of energy, informational energy. And the highest beings tap into a network called source.
Yeah, so that would make it a species of higher advancement.
Yeah. But the source entities, they tap into source. They can understand this highly intellectual informational energy. They can they act like transducers. They transform that into a simpler understanding. And then they are the teachers that teach, like Kent, through this telepathic communication. And so eventually, we have the ability to raise ourselves, but it's only by being able to evaluate the events that are in this field while we're here in this experiential learning field.
So I hope we didn't confuse you with all this. We're trying to get you to understand that you are connecting the dots. You might not think so, that you are part of the connection. Perceive yourself as an understanding entity. Don't back away from the essential things that surround you, in nature and spiritually.
And the events that are happening in our world.
Pay attention.
But we don't need to immerse ourselves to the point of
distraction,
just being distraught.
Yeah.
What we need to do in the way that we were taught and is to view it as if you're looking through an opaque glass. It's not really clear. You're watching from a distance and you're just the observer. That way you don't become attached and polarized, because you won't be able to see the entire picture if you're polarized. You have to be squarely in the middle and to be observing it from a very neutral point of view.
Yeah. So I'll tell you to be an observer.
Thank you for joining us. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below. And we will attach a link to our last video, which goes into this, not all of this, but about the Osterfire and
the last part, hopefully.
Yeah, it is a more lengthy video, but we'll leave a link.
Yeah, because this year and next year, in 2008, things will begin to change in this world, which you probably will not understand.
You mean 2028?
2028, yes. From now to 2028.
And we are here to help explain things, what's going on. Because
if you're willing to listen.
Because what we think we're seeing is not what's really happening.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful week. Peace be with you on your journey to enlightenment.